All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the epic James Russell's interview. Today we're here with obviously James Russell's, and yeah, we're just gonna talk about random stuff, talk about 2B2T, Constantiam, and yeah, hello James.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I guess we could just talk about like how did you join 2B2T? How did you learn about it?
Wow. I'm way too old to remember. I think this was the end of 2012, I want to say. I've just realized I've walked away. Sorry about
It's all good.
that. It was around the end of 2012. I think like October. It was just coming up to kind of the Christmas season. Somebody posted a render of Spawn on the Minecraft subreddit. And it just looked really cool. It looked like there had been people living there at some point and there was like destruction, and up to then I'd only ever seen creative servers, things like that, things where everything is built, everything's pristine, everything's a bit too clean. So yeah, I saw this world that looked like it had been through a war. So yeah, I read through the comments. People were like, this is cool, this is cool. And then there was one comment and they said 2B2T with a question. And they were like, yep. So I Googled it and here we are.
And like, how did Spawn look like back then?
When I joined, it was kind of clear. I think House he definitely did over the years. He kind of cleared areas of Spawn, and he had cleared quite a bit of it with World Edit. So you can tell because just thousands of blocks in a square would all be cut down to the same level. And someone like the ice would be gone, and you could see kind of the brush strokes that he used to do it. So yeah, it was kind of reset in a way, I guess you could say. Parts of it had been taken down. Eventually, after playing, I learned that he used to do this for lag. He would get rid of lava casts and things like that. So when I joined, it was kind of bare, but parts of it were definitely, there were still casts and things like that on a lot of it. But it was mostly ice, to be honest.
And then like how did you like find players on here? Like how do you meet your first group?
So my first group that I met, it was kind of just random players here and there. I'm not entirely sure of the timeline, but it was kind of, I think NFE was still going on, like the building and destruction of that was happening. I think 700 base was in the process of being destroyed, I believe. And then I kind of saw it as it was first in the first griefing. So I just kind of made my home there, tried to rebuild 700 base, I guess, just with, cobble and destroy the cobble that wasn't supposed to be there from the cast, and try and rebuild, Pop-Pop's castle. And yeah, and then a few people came along to help me. Some came along to kill me, but eventually enough people stuck around. There was quite a few of us there.
And that's where you met XCC2, right?
Yeah. So him, Zavia, a bunch of other people, they all came. They were helping me out, and then we saw Vincent was at the same time. No, not Vincent. Sorry, Victor. Victor 86 was here, founding the Gape, where we're standing at the minute. So. There was kind of a lot of things going on at Spawn. I didn't really see a need to leave Spawn because so much was happening. It was, constantly changing every day. You come to learn that's what happens on 2B2T and a lot of different Anarchy servers. Spawn is always changing. So, yeah, so we kind of hung around Spawn, met a bunch of people there. And, the groups kind of grew from Spawn, to be honest.
Yeah, and about the Gape, like, is there anything here that like reminds you of anything? Like, what was this like place built for?
This place here was kind of the entranceway, I guess, to the Gape. This would kind of allow us to get down there. So if you look through the glass, you would see straight down to the grass that's down at the bottom there. There's also kind of like a water bit that you can jump into if you went into inside the Gape. You could just jump down into, where was it? I can't remember where it was, but there was a hole basically somewhere. I think it's probably down here somewhere, and you could just jump down straight to the Gape. Here we go. So you could just jump, off the ladder there, and you would end up in the water. So It was just to pass the time, to be honest. Somebody said, "Hey, why don't we just dig straight down to bedrock and clear it all out?" So that's what we did. I think it was like 128 by 128, but the idea was to go to 512 by 512. But yeah, that never really happened. Although the outline did get dug, so you can kind of see that from a aerial view.
Do you remember how long it took to just like mine out the whole thing?
Oh, like weeks, because we just had iron pickaxes. So it took such a long time to do that.
Wow. So that's pretty insane. Like even like from back then, people just like still just like made stuff like this. Even like today, like you don't see people just making like these huge holes and stuff, like only at spawn, but like not at bases.
Well, I mean, we took the idea and made the second Gape. So that was kind of out in the hundreds of thousands, and we made Gape 2 over there. But yeah, I guess it was kind of the first time where people were just like, hey, let's just dig for fun. That hadn't really happened on 2B2T, and kind of in the following years, I guess, especially kind of in this generation that 2B2T is in at the minute, like clearing out water seemed to be the next thing. So people would kind of drain the ocean and build a base there, or drain a hole in the ocean and build a base inside it. So yeah.
And is this sign real? Housemaster was here, or is that fake?
I don't know. I think it was probably fake. House didn't really leave signs. Again, Pop Bob didn't leave a sign here. I think a lot of it was kind of done either by Coconut or FTS. They used to love just putting random signs up. So yeah, most of the signs you see around the base were probably written by Coconut or FTS.
After Gape, you guys built Gape 2.0.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so we went out and we built Gape and Gape 2. That was kind of during Fenrir. So the guys who met together at the Gape, we eventually teamed up with Sato 86's few guys that were there from Valk. So we kind of came together and we built Fenrir. And then from Fenrir, kind of as that was decaying and it wasn't really getting anywhere, the invitation kind of went out to the original members plus a few others of Gape 1 to make Gape 2. And that was a lot bigger.
Yeah, you want to go there actually?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, this is Gape 2.0.
Yeah, so this is Gape 2.0. So again, kind of thing, behind us was the Temple of Light that Khaleesi was building. And then in front of it, this cobblestone mess, again, Coconut 4 built his Temple of Darkness to kind of rival her Temple of Light. So yeah, I'm not sure which one you prefer, but I know which one I like. And yeah, you've kind of got the Gape here. So when it was dug out, I again still had a lot of free time on my hands after digging all this out. So I kind of patched up all of the holes. So kind of on the left wall down there, you can kind of see that the holes are all kind of lined, I suppose. I did that just to stop mobs from falling in there. Yeah, I can't remember who did the pixel art. I really can't remember who did that. But there was like a fully fledged base back there. There's like a villager breeder, I think that Silver Crown King made. Gold farm, everything, sorting room, everything. Whereas I suppose Gape 1 was using like the real alpha kind of blocks. It was built just with, cobble, dirt, things like that, the basic wood. This was later in the game, so we had access to different types of material. So kind of just gave it a different feel.
Or just like a bunker as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it would kind of just, let you in. Again, similar kind of thing with the doors. Oh my God. Signpost. This signpost is a little bit more accurate than the other one. There isn't really anything on here that is fake, I would say. Yeah, kind of looks all good. FTS and Lemonfoot did end up coming here. Ian was at Fenrir, so he came over here. I think I have my timeline correct. Fenrir may have been after this. No. I think Fenrir was first before this. But yeah, I did say sorting room, but this is kind of, yeah. It's not really like the sorting room that, you're probably used to seeing nowadays. I suppose it's a real basic one, but still, you would dump all your stuff in the chest, and it would do it for you.
Who built this? Like the item sorting?
I'm not sure. I think it was either Khaleesi or Victor 86. Yeah.
And then how did Gape 2.0 get griefed?
Well, that's kind of a funny story because there was a few times that it almost got griefed. So we kind of built straight off the 4,444 tunnel in the Nether, and we were just literally a couple of hundred blocks away from that highway. And for some reason, I really don't know why to this day, IMBJR, Imja, he was walking down one of the, and he was known to kind of grief bases when he found them. He was kind of like a wild card. You never really knew if he was going to grief a base or not. Generally, he would grief a base just for fun. He was saying that he was going down this highway, and he was definitely on the way to a base, and there were signs of life, and it was so obvious that a base was going to be at the end of it. So I kind of asked him, and I said, "Hey, what highway are you on? I'm in the Nether too. I'm looking for bases." He was like, "Oh yeah, 4444." And so obviously, panic stations on Skype, because that's what everybody was using at the time, because Discord didn't exist. So everyone's kind of like, "Oh crap, he's going to find the base and he's going to destroy it easy." So I went into the Nether on that highway, which was probably maybe a couple of K away from where he was at the time. And I built a fake end of the highway, and I threw a load of stuff at the end of the highway. In fact, I think I may have killed myself at the end of the highway next to some lava. So, like, I don't know, 30 minutes pass, and he gets to the end, and in chat, he's like, "Oh my God, someone was digging this tunnel and they must have died because there's like a bunch of stuff next to lava." So we had managed to save the base for another day. The base itself, I'm not sure who griefed it because it was abandoned. We all went to the next base. That's kind of what our group did. We would establish a base. We would, set everything up that we needed. And, when it got bored, we would just call it a success and move on to the next base. Kind of around that time, I believe the spawn incursion, the third spawn incursion started. So we kind of ended up going there and doing that in between building other bases.
And like what did you guys do during the third incursion?
So during the third incursion, we built the oh god, what was it called? The spawn incursion base. Yeah, SIB. So we built the spawn incursion base, which was at the time, I think, don't fact check me on this, but I think it was the largest obsidian build on the server at the time. It was practically at spawn. Actually, when the vault used to be around, and the vault creator had that running, the spawn incursion base was actually the hub of where you would get to all of the bases that we're at now, which is why earlier around the other side of well, behind me, I guess, where I'm standing, is the old portal to spawn incursion base, which is what used to be used in the original vault server before the archive carried on its legacy. But
I think
yeah,
it might
so
be on here.
yeah,
Let me check.
no, I think it was kind of instant. There was like a mod that let you do it.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah. So the good thing with that is that we basically went to spawn. Everyone was at spawn. We kind of took over spawn. There was a group of about 20 people there. We would kill people that were on the kill list. What else was going on? We kind of built the forward operating base. Was built, I think, around 10,000 blocks away from spawn. So that's where all of our items and all of our gear was held, that we would use in the incursion. And then we would use the base, the spawn incursion base, kind of just to show off. It was also, what's that thing? Baritone. I think it's something that became baritone. So the thing before baritone, that's what we used to build spawn incursion base. So it was at that point, it was literally just a script and some code and things like that you would put together to build it, and then it would allow you to just build things from a schematic. Whereas now that's kind of in baritone, it's in every client. But yeah, that was kind of the first of its kind as well. So it was kind of a first for not just 2B2C or Anarchy, but I think it was a first for Minecraft, to be honest.
Like I can think maybe like Schematica. Like you have to build it
Yeah,
yourself.
that's it. Yeah, you kind of had the printer, I guess, so you could run around and build it. But this one was, yeah, it was kind of split up into sections, and everyone had their own section that they would do. So it was kind of all coordinated and stuff as well. So yeah, like a lot of teamwork went into that.
Was it like after that you guys went to Wrath Outpost?
I can't even remember Wrath Outpost.
Uh,
Like I joined like 12 years ago. Yeah, I'm struggling to remember exactly what that base was.
like it was like during the incursion, like they built it, just like to have like a foundation to like kill players and stuff like that.
No, I think that's what we called the spawn incursion base. Yeah, I think that was Wrath Outpost was the huge obsidian thing, right?
Yeah, like we can go there actually. See,
Yeah, let's do it. So I guess at the time during the incursion, this was just our spawn incursion base. That's just what it was. That's just what it was called. But yeah, this is wild. Although I feel like this has been made after it was
yeah, I don't know if there's a.
griefed, I suppose.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the only thing on this server. And there was like a bedrock uh block in the middle, right?
absolutely. Yeah, there was a bedrock block in the middle that was placed by Pyro. Yeah, Pyrobite.
Was there like any bases you guys were at after Wrath Outpost or the Third Incursion?
Um, oh man, this is a good question. This is a really good question because I just I can't remember. There was so many. Kind of, we went to Avalon. So we kind of found Avalon when me, Spartan, and Keynes were digging to what we believed was going to be Imp Base, which did end up being Imp Base. While we were digging there, we ended up seeing Avalon City, who was built by awesome guy Monkey. Yeah, and he was at Asgard. No, I don't want to say Asgard. He was from the place, the City of Gold.
City of. I
This
kind
is
of remember.
you're honestly talking to like an old age pensioner. Like I literally have no idea. Like I have not opened up Minecraft in so long.
Really, this is like your first time like on
Yeah,
Minecraft.
this is my first time playing Minecraft for so long. It was, God damn it, I have a video on. It's like the most watched video on my YouTube.
Here, let me check. Asgard 2, Aureus City.
Aureus. God damn it. Yeah, Aureus. So Awesome Guy Monkey was at Aureus. He built Avalon, which was kind of just floating on the ocean. And then we also found this crazy up this pyramid that I think he had built as well, and that was on the way to find imps. Yeah.
So you guys were trying to find imp space as well. Like, what's the story behind that?
So the story behind that is kind of crazy. So if you don't know what Imp Base is, it essentially was like plug-in town, I suppose. Like people who, yeah, sure, why not? People who were at Imp Base, they kind of owned the server. These are the guys who had just everything. They had backdoors into the server. Yeah, they had a fair bit. Kind of think of like a famous player, and they were probably at in base. I mean, you're talking, Pop Bob, I Tristan, so many people, so many people there. I mean, it's a discredit. XCC2,
Topia.
Oftopia, yeah, exactly. They kind of were all there, and they would build in their own section. So they kind of decided, hey, why don't we make a base? And everyone kind of just has their own area and build something. It was kind of a bit disconnected, so there wasn't really like a continuous feel all the way through it. But they did build like a huge NPC village. Here we go. So Tristan was at the time I thought somebody who owned the server, or it was obviously helped with the server because he ran various events. So he ran a April Fool's event, I believe in 2014 it was, or 2013. And this was one where there was a command called Jihad. He was making changes to this plugin in real time. So he was like, oh, let me make it give you 10 things. And he would make it give us 10 TNT instead of 5 or whatever. So he obviously had direct access to the server. So I was like, well, who else has direct access to the server? And I was doing some digging, and I came across a FTP server that Tristan used to use. So this is a server online that you can store files on, and there was no password on this server. And In this server, it was full of region files, so Minecraft region files in the Nether. And I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like, what the hell is this? So he's obviously been downloading, files that seem straight from the server. So I whacked them into single player, and we saw this crazy tower in the Nether. So it was this portal room, but it was so huge and so just extravagant. We were like, there is a huge base on the other side of that portal. It came from my Tristan. It's probably going to be Imp Base, let's face it. Nobody knew it was called Imp Base, but the back of the 2B2T website was this. It was Christ the Redeemer with the things behind it. I was like, I bet it's going to be this base. Like, I bet you like $100 it's going to be this base. So we ended up digging, me, Spartan, and Keynes. Now, Keynes Law will argue that he did all the digging. He did like 90% of the digging, to be fair. But so we basically dug to the coordinates in the Nether. And they basically worked out to a diagonal chord. I think it was like a million in the overworld. So it wasn't, crazy far if you think about these days, how far people go for bases. Yeah, so we dug there. We found the portal. We were like, no way. Meanwhile, don't forget, on the way there, we stopped at the actual 1 million on the diagonal monument, I guess. And it turned out to be this huge pyramid. And the guy who was making it didn't even know that Imp Space existed until it became public, which was just insane. But so we were there. We found the portal. We stepped through the portal, and it kind of created exactly where you're standing, to be honest. And we were looking up at the Redeemer. We were like, what the hell? Like, how is this possible? Like, we knew it was there, but at the same time, we were just gobsmacked. Along here was also pig spawners everywhere, hence all the pigs.
No, yeah, there's like also I don't think it's at this base, but Tristan had like a hole
Yeah.
or something like that. Or Tristan says he didn't build it, but it was like near Imp Space too.
Yeah, so that was somewhere else. I'm not too sure what was going on with that, because I think that kind of became public after I left. But, he had various things around the map that were kind of private to him. He had bunkers in, world edited regions. That the things had been pasted into the world because of how the chests were kind of screwed up and things like that. So, we had some very powerful people that played on the server. They had, access to the machine. He could tell everyone's join date because he had taken a copy of the player data. Clyde, who was his friend, he also had access to various things on the server. Pyrobyte as well. Tristan and Pyrobyte kind of almost seem to run the thing together at one point. There's a lot of things that people don't know, I guess. The emails that we would get from Housemaster changed over time, so the way he spoke would have changed. The emails were no longer. If you send someone an email and they reply, it will show like the to and the from that they received, and that used to be Swedish when House had it. And then that stopped being Swedish. So it was kind of obvious that 2B2T had lots of different people that were running it. I don't think you can run a server like 2B2T just as one person. You would go insane. Lots of people that based here had crazy access to the server. And it was kind of finding this out that led to a lot of people eventually leaving 2B2T. Which then required, someone like the Camping Russia to do a video on it to, bring some life back into it. And here we are today.
And that's what led you guys to just leave 2B2T and join Constantiam?
Yeah, no, we left and we found Constantiam. It was nothing like it was now. It was kind of just like a little test that someone was running to see if they could run a server with absolutely no rules. And we kind of found it in its infancy, and we helped the admin turn it into a server that was worthy to run and outlast pretty much all the clones that came afterwards. So Constantiam was made. Well, we moved to Constantiam about 2 to 3 months before the Camping Russia made his video on 2B2T. So while 2B2T was still dying, we had moved to Constantium.
And like when the camping rusher made this video, what did you guys think about it?
I think we were pissed off at first because it brought so many people to Constantium, because Constantium really was the only other server that was similar to 2B2T that had the exact same rules as 2B2T, and that had the same kind of systems, green text, kind of the party plugin and things like that were all the same. Like visually, it was very similar to 2B2T. And when the video was made, it filled all the play slots almost immediately when it came out. So people physically couldn't join 2B2T because there was no queue, there was nothing. There was just 250 people on, and that was it, full. You can't get in. So people would obviously come to Constantium, and the place that we went to have a quiet separation from 2B2T, became huge as well because of the runoff, I guess, from 2B2T.
One thing though, what was it? There's a guy in the chat named Apricot Enjoyer. He said like
Okay.
when you were on 2B2T, right? Like what was it like to base with VMC?
Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, he was chill. He was the same as anyone else, we were just basing with friends. He would have his house, he would help out, he would build some farms here and there, he would join in on things like, the Incursion and Asgard 2. We were together at Asgard 2. The Cool Kids Club. I don't know if he's done a video about that or anything, but we based at different bases, and then after we became big, we kind of, we're still in touch, we still speak. We've been kind of in a few of his videos, I guess, like his random one that he did about go-karting or something like that. He had all the old like Fenrir and Asgard 2 crew with him as well. So like, think of like Vincent 98, I keep saying Vincent, Victor 98 and things like that. People from the Gape 1 were playing as well with him there. He recently went to Aureus, and a bunch of us met up there for the kind of anniversary of it. People had been rebuilding it as well. So yeah, pretty cool.
All right, and then on Constantium, right? Like what was it with like the presidencies and stuff like that?
So that's something that actually started on Constantium. So the presidency of a server and newspapers, that started on Constantium. They essentially, we just needed like an event to bring people together, because on 2B2T you would have the destruction events that would bring people together. So you would have the incursions, and on Constantium you would have things that were building events, I guess. So we were like, let's have something fun for the community. Let's make, I don't know, a president of the server. Obviously, they don't actually have any power or anything like that, but, it's pretty cool to see. And yeah, so we set up a system. Well, to be honest, Paper Editor, Sir Leonidas, he was the guy who came up with the whole thing, really. He decided to have an account that would sit somewhere and people could message, private message it to vote for people. Then the votes would get counted up by various people, and we would have a president of the server.
I'm looking at the wiki right now. Like one of the Constantium's community's biggest memes was that Phantom Captain, the server's admin, was actually James Russell's. This theory was eventually proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, but was betrayed many times by James' behavior and indirect comments.
Yeah, so I guess there was a lot of conspiracies going around, because I did used to help out with Constantium. Yeah, I used to help out with Constantium. I made a few plugins here and there, and I would help with just kind of managing the system. It's run on a rack mount server in a data center running Linux. It's not the easiest thing to deal with. So I would help Phantom Captain with that. And I guess because I knew what was going on behind the scenes and things like that, I was the one that found it. It makes sense that people would believe that I was also running the server, but no, I was just kind of helping out with it, really, to be honest. People kind of came up with the conclusion that I was Phantom Captain, and then they went round and found the evidence afterwards to kind of fit it into the conclusion they had already come up with, rather than looking at the evidence and it being quite obvious who the owner is of Constantiam. But they kind of decided it was me, and didn't really look elsewhere. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you just like you just helped and not like like became like the I Tristan Constantium.
Yeah, essentially. But the only difference between me and I Tristan and the people who ran 2B2T was that I wasn't ever going to, or nor did I exploit the server
Yeah.
or do anything for my own gain. So at no point did I have access to any like game modes or anything like that. I couldn't spawn things into the map or do anything like that. The server itself has always been completely untouched by any player. It's kind of that side of it has always been handled by Phantom Captain. A lot of the things that we did was just kind of help out with kind of how things would run in terms of maybe have these kind of rules for the server. Hey, maybe put green text in when you do the the forward chevron, because that's things that we had on 2B2T and it's pretty funny. It's like a 4chan meme. Just stuff like that.
I forgot to ask you actually, like when did you like make the 2B2T blog from like back then?
Oh wow, so that was, oh geez, that was a long time ago. I can answer you with the exact date. I'm just gonna check when. God, it's still running on like some really ancient system. So it was made in December 2014. So pretty much 2 years after I joined 2B2T.
Yeah, because I usually like when I made the videos about what was it, Gape, Awesome Guy Monkey, Avalon's
Yeah.
base, stuff like that. Like that really helped with like those videos. Because without it, like I wouldn't
Oh,
have
nice.
made
Yeah.
those videos at all.
Yeah, so there's kind of like a lot of information on there, kind of in the early days. So what I kind of didn't like was that there was no interesting posts or anything to learn about 2B2T as a new player. You were kind of expected to just, lurk more, I guess. So this was kind of a way for people to lurk more. I like to document things kind of in real life as well. It's kind of something that I have done in the past for various things. Not to kind of put too much information out there, but yeah, it's just something that I really enjoy, having kind of a record of something. So, for instance, when I started the blog, in the very first post, it tells you at the minute 2B2T is a 4-year-old Minecraft server, and 62,000 people have visited at least once. So, like, this was a long time ago. So, this was kind of an era that not many people saw, because of those 62,000 people that had ever connected to the server once, in 2014, when I joined, you would be lucky maybe to see 50 people online. Already, so much history in those 4 years had been lost to time. So I just wanted to make sure that we were able to record some history. I would write posts, and then eventually people would say, hey, can I write a post for the server? And then they would write a post for the server. People like the Fox, Cold Wave, Jesse Number 6. I mean, these names might not mean anything to 99.9% of the people reading it, but 2B2T is the way 2B2T is because of these people. So I kind of wanted like just a memory, I guess, of how things used to be and how 2B2T became 2B2T. And kind of as you read through the blog from the start to the newest post, you kind of see that happening, I guess.
And you have like no plans of like shutting it down anytime soon.
No, I mean it's kind of just running on like a free system anyway, so it doesn't really cost me anything to run. The only thing that's kind of costing me to run is like the maps. So on the 2B2T blog, you can access the maps at map.jamesrussells.com. And they're kind of maps that you can explore. It says coming soon on there from like 10 years ago, but there are 2 maps that you can explore that show you exactly what the spawn is like on 2B2T in 2016. So the 16th of March 2016, so we're almost coming up to 8 years ago now. You can zoom right in on the map and explore it and see what spawn used to look like.
And for Constantium, right? Like or 2B2T, it got updated, right? But
Yeah.
like for Constantium, it got updated to 1.19 as well.
Yeah, so Constantiam really was the first big Anarchy server that updated. It updated to 1.19.4, which was, I think, because no, I helped with the upgrade. That was kind of the last thing I did on Constantium before kind of quitting, I guess. The last thing that we did was, yeah, we brought it to 1.19.4, but 1.20 had come out just about. But it was still kind of a bit too unstable, so we decided just to leave it on 1.19.4.
Okay. And why did you quit Constantium?
Just time, I guess. When I first started playing Minecraft, it was 2009, I think it was. Yeah, it was 2009, early 2010, probably. And I was like, I don't know, 19 maybe. I just had a lot of spare time. Wasn't in school, wasn't really working. I just had a lot of spare time to play and kind of got sucked in. And it was just a real good way to pass the time, meet people, make friends, join groups, find bases, build bases, destroy bases. Like, it's a lot of fun in a community that kind of lasted through time. Like I said, 12 years since joining 2B2T, I still talk to people who played back then today. So just kind of as I got older, I suppose, it's been like, over well over a decade now. And yeah, life just moves on, I guess. Like, I just don't really have time to play. Don't really enjoy it anymore, I guess. There's just other things that I'm kind of into at the minute. So yeah, it's just a natural cycle, I think. I think over time a lot of people stop playing. Some people who are kind of lucky enough to be able to continue playing still do. But yeah, just kind of over time you do generally see a lot of people kind of stop playing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like understandable though, because as you say, you've been playing over like a decade. Eventually, people want to move on, do other stuff. Like it's normal.
Yeah. I mean, it's been about 15 years since I
Yeah,
started
I mean,
playing Minecraft, so I feel like I've pretty much done everything that I want to do in Minecraft for 15 years. So yeah, it's pretty much been maybe about a year, maybe just under a year since I've probably played, to be honest. Yeah.
this is your first time in the year, like for playing Minecraft.
Um, I've kind of opened it up because some people wanted me to do a video of their base, and you've just reminded me. I I videoed a tour of their base, and I've just not made the video.
Oh
So
wow.
I should probably do that at some point, because that's not great. But yeah, no, I've not actually sat down and opened Minecraft to actually play the game. Probably in over a year. Yeah. And since then, I've probably opened it maybe about 3 times. This being one of them, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I guess if we can end the interview, I guess like
Yeah.
what made like 2B2T and Constantium interesting in the first place? Like why did you kept playing for almost a decade or more than a decade?
It's probably the cheesiest line that is out there, but it's about the journey. It's about the friends you make on the way. And it kind of really is. Like, you meet people playing certain games and you become friends, and it's like, whether it be, I don't know, COD or something like that, it's the same game all the time, if that kind of makes sense. Whereas with Minecraft, it's a sandbox, literally a sandbox game. So you can do whatever you want. There's so many possibilities and just endless things that you can do in Minecraft. If you want to make like a machine that plays tic-tac-toe, you can make a machine that plays tic-tac-toe. If you want to make an animated map, you can make an animated map. Also, something that started on Constantium, by the way.
Really?
People seem to think that was too. Yeah, that was the first animated map. Was on Constantium. Yeah, but like, you meet these people, you have a good time, you form relationships. There are people on Constantium that base together, that met up in real life, and are now married. So, like, it's huge. It's huge. I think it just brings people together, and the way that common interest, people that play this game enjoy similar things. They enjoy Minecraft. There's a huge community of players, especially that join Anarchy, that are into tech. So they're tech workers, me being one of them. So I've met people who you just kind of have something similar, in common with, and you can talk on Discord, and Whereas before it was kind of just on Minecraft, I guess. You would log in and you would see if your friends are online and you would talk to them. And then Skype came along and now Discord came along and it's on your phone, it's in your pocket, you can have video calls. Yeah, it's just the community side of it, I guess. It's huge, it's powerful, and I think it's what keeps people it keeps people on. Yeah.
Yeah, I can also agree with that. Like, you meet tons of these people that you would never meet in real life. Like, you learn a lot from them as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like there's such a wide range of people from all walks of life, all different ages, all different countries. I know most of the people that play are probably from the US, but there's a lot of people from, the UK, Germany, Russia, kind of all over the place. You look at I just look at the stats from like my blog, for instance, of where people are reading from, and it's worldwide. You can be, it kind of sounds weird, but you could be like a kid and you're basing with like, I don't know, like a 40-year-old guy who's got like two kids and, works from home. So he's like playing on Minecraft to pass the time. And you just get to meet people and just see different ways of thinking, I guess. You see, yeah, just different styles of people, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and Apricot Enjoyer, a YouTube member, he just asked, have you met any players in real life?
Yeah, loads. So I met a player from the US that I based with, who started playing on Constantiam. They were on a trip in London, so I met up with him, went to a coffee shop, and it was pretty cool. It's sometimes awkward at first when you meet someone in real life. You're kind of like, because you know them online, but you don't know them in real life. So you almost feel like you've got nothing to talk about. But then it becomes quite obvious that, yeah, we do have something in common. Like we play the game, like we do kind of know each other. So once you kind of get over that initial like 30 seconds of awkwardness, it's just like talking to a friend, which is pretty cool. But yeah, no, there's a few people in the UK that I've met quite a few times. Like we've had days out in London together, like three or four of us. We've done that. I don't know, like four times, I want to say. I met a player when I was traveling Europe in Paris. Yeah, just probably a few more dotted around here and there in the UK. But yeah, I've met quite a few people. Yeah.
I guess, like, the last question, like, what do you think of, like, the future for Anarchy? Like, do you think it's gonna be, like, like a wave, pretty much, like, you'll be back down to a little bit, like, low player count and then go up again eventually?
Yeah, I think that kind of always happens. Looking at kind of the stats on Constantium, I guess since it started, that kind of always happens. There's people kind of get bored and they stop playing, and then the server will update and there's loads of people back on. Like before Constantium updated, it was on 1.12 for a long time, for like 7 years, and like people were just done. They're done pretty much everything in Minecraft. There's only so many bases you can build. Yeah, new players were joining, but the groups, the people who have found themselves in sub communities on the server had started to stop playing. And then the update came along, and there's like 5 times the amount of people playing that used to play. Constantium went to like 130 people that would be on kind of at any time after the update. And it kind of varies as well during the year. So we're going to be, approaching summer soon. So we're going to have more people on during the summer because of like school holidays and people have just a bit more time. The days are longer. Whereas kind of in the winter, it kind of gets a bit less. Yeah, I think it's something that never ends. There's always a new generation of players that are playing. I'm sure if, even just in the last year of me not playing, if I looked at the tab list of Constantium right now, I'm probably not going to recognize anyone that's on there because there's just a constant cycle. The names and the people that I've been talking about, maybe, not Pop Bob, Tristan, or Fit MC, but everyone else that I've mentioned, probably, no one knows who they are. They've probably not played in 5 or 6 years. But yeah, there's still players on 2B2T. There's still groups that you probably know of off the top of your head. You could probably name quite a few groups. Some go, some rejoin. It's just a circle of life, I think. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I guess that's the end of this interview. Thank you,
Cool.
James, for being on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You can find his channel in the description as well. So very epic,
Yeah.
very epic. Thank you guys for the YouTube members, like asking questions and stuff like that. And yeah. All right. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.